Gamer7 and welcome back to another Create a Sim, particularly a part of the Pokemon series. If you've seen the title, you know it is the legendary birds, but starting with this video starts the ones that were influenced by Twitter. There will be I think 2 more that are like the humans from some of the anime and stuff that wasn't influenced by Twitter. But the rest of these are going to be influenced by Twitter, the ones that are the actual Pokemon. So, I can't remember exactly all of them, but I know particularly with this one, I did put the 3 legendary birds up on a poll, and technically 2 of them won. So, they literally tied. I don't remember the percentages, but they tied. And I was like, well, if I'm going to end up doing 2 of them, since those 2 tied, I might as well do the 3rd one. So I actually do all 3 of them, even though I originally did a poll to figure out one of them to do, so, woo, treat. So, Moltres and Articuno was the 2 that was actually voted and tied, which honestly surprised me because usually from what I hear, at least my experience from what I hear, Zapdos is usually the favorite. So that did surprise me a little bit there, but if you go by Pokemon Go standards, then yes, it makes sense, because Team Valor and Team Mystic are the 2 that have the most people in it generally, and the ones that you usually see gyms for, versus Team Instinct is a little lower on the... You don't see them quite as much. I actually belong to Team Mystic, so I'm in one of the bigger ones, but that's partially because Articuno was my favorite legendary bird, so that was the big reason, one of the big reasons. Also, I tend to go towards things that, when they're describing it or whatever, seem more, I guess, like, you know how you have, like, strength, usually they're divided by, like, strength, courage, or willpower, and, wisdom. I tend to go for the wisdom category almost all the time. I don't know why, I just do, and that's sort of what, the way the Mystic's leader sort of sounded, she was more towards that, so that was, those 2 reasons is why I picked that team. But anyway, let's get back on to this video. This is going to be one of the longer ones because I am making 3. It's not the only one that actually has 3 Sims in the video. Of course, there's already been one, which was Ash, Brock, and Misty, but that one was a little bit easier than this one. This one is where I'm actually trying to interpret a Pokemon as a human. So, within the standards of Sims on top of that, because like if you're drawing or painting them, you have free range. You can make it look as much like the bird as possible, or Pokemon in general standards, but you could make it look as close to them as possible but still change it into a human. Versus with Sims, you got certain things that you gotta work with. You have to go by what you have. So definitely is a little on the hard side, but I take the challenge. I'm actually really happy with these 3. Particularly, I think Moltres still looks really pretty. While maybe I'm just weird, maybe I just think this, but I think her face, especially from a like semi-profile view, definitely gives me sort of like a thought of a bird. Like if a bird had a more humanoid face, which sort of sounds mean in some ways, but I still think she looks really, really pretty. Even though that her face may, at certain views, have sort of birdish qualities to them, I still think she's really, really pretty. So I think I probably succeeded the most on her, but I still think Articuno and Zapdos also still sort of bring those bird qualities in, while also still looking human. And I'm happy with all 3 of them. I didn't have really any complaints with all 3 of them. I think I did the quickest was Zapdos. But the thing with males in general, I tend to not have a lot to work with. So I don't have, though sometimes it can prove it to make it harder, but it also tends to give me less options, so I have less options to go through, so I'm not constantly like, maybe this one, 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 maybe this one. I don't have to do all that. But, anyway, so with Moltres, like I said, I think she does have sort of the birdish features in the face. I do temporarily change her hair so that I can actually sort of see some of her profiles, because the hair that I do choose is like all big and flowy. But I did want to try to get, I wanted to make her obviously like a redhead, but I wanted to get one of the ones that's like an ombre or balayage, I guess, effect. I don't exactly for surely know, but it has, the hair that I chose also have wavy ends, so it fits with the whole fire thing, because, you know, she is the fire one. So I definitely thought it really, really worked for her, and I really liked it. And I picked mostly orange clothes. I did give her a lighter orange because there is some lighter oranges that are almost peaches on Moltres, if you look. And I gave her, I think, brown shoes to represent, like, her claws, or is it talons on birds? Is that what it's technically called? I think that's what it's technically called. But I did go through the pants quite often because I knew I didn't have too many, like the bottoms anyway, not just pants, but I knew I didn't have too many, like, actually orange options. So I went through and tried to make sure that, you know, like, was there any orange that I didn't know of? Did I actually want to give her orange bottoms? So I tried some blue jeans. I was like, maybe I'll try to change the top. But in the end, I did go with the pants that are actually orange. I think it actually does look well on her. I don't usually gear towards orange clothes. As I say this, though, I'm actually wearing an orange shirt to be sort of funny and ironic. But I don't normally gear towards orange clothes. But I think it does work really well with her, and I like it. And I like how it turned out. And surprisingly, the brown shoes don't look really weird with it either, to represent, like, the claws and talons. Everything sort of worked together on this one. And yeah, so I hope you like Moltres. She, like I said, she was one of the ones that was the most voted on. I don't remember the percentage, but her and Articuno was, well, Moltres and Articuno was tied. Part of the reason why I decided to go with a female with Moltres was just because of the fire. I feel like I could have gotten a better fire effect with, like, some of the hairs and stuff in the females, because some hairs show up on both males and females when you click away the feminine and masculine thing, but not all of them do. So that was a big part of the reason with Moltres deciding to make her female. But I'm really glad that I did, because, like I said, I really liked how she turned out, and I think she sort of turned out the best. As for Articuno, again, the flowy longness and everything, I don't know. I just was leaning more towards female, but I did make Zapdos a guy. But it also represents the leaders of the teams on Pokemon Go, now that I think about it, because both Valor and Mystic are females, while Instinct is a male. I didn't purposely do that. That was just sort of my mindset going into this, is I thought Moltres and Articuno would fit female somewhat better, and I think I could do it, pull it off better, while I thought that Zapdos definitely needed to be a male. So that was just happened to work out that way. But anyway, with Articuno, I did want to try to, I think I gave Articuno and Moltres both the little headpiece. Partially because with some of the ones that were legendary, I did try to set them apart from just, like, the average Pokemon. So I tried to do something extra for the most part. I didn't do anything on Zapdos, I don't think. But the way that sort of Zapdos is, at least in my opinion, if he was a human, and his personality, I feel like, Zapdos would be like, nah, I'm not for all that, nah, I don't care. Like, I don't think he would try to represent his status as a legendary Pokemon, necessarily. That's just sort of my feeling. Yeah. But I did, for the most of them, I did try to give them something special. Some of them, it was hard. I will say it was harder for the ones that I made as guys versus girls, just because I have so many accessories for females that are, like, unique and different versus the males. And still, again, a lot of that stuff doesn't transfer over from female to males, even if you take rid of the feminine or masculine thing. And the ones that do carry over, a lot of them actually don't fit right on the males at all. So my options were a little limited sometimes, but with Articuno and Moltres, I did just the simple headpiece. I didn't do anything super extravagant, but I think their hair being the way it is was pretty extravagant enough. I think I actually used the hair that I use on Articuno on someone else, but it's just a different color. So, doesn't really matter, but I thought that hair was definitely really fitting because it was, to me, it looks like it's almost the exact color of the tail. And the thing that Articuno is really known for is the wavy, wispy tail as it flies through the air. So I thought that this hair was definitely really fitting for Articuno, and before I even fully went in to go and fully make her, I knew I wanted to use that hair. I was hoping that it had a blue, because I wasn't sure if it did have a blue. I was like, I'm pretty sure it has the blue that I want, but I'm not entirely sure, but it better, because that is the hair that I want to use. I did try a few other ones, just in case, but I was like, yeah, got it. But, as you can see, I was trying as well. Just basically experimenting, and trying to do different things. Ultimately, like, for her clothes, I definitely wasn't sure what direction to go with. I like super fancy or anything. I feel like out of all the legendaries in the first generation, like, look-wise and things like that aren't, like, super over the top. I mean, they are more so than the regular Pokemon just because of size for the most part. I mean, you put, like, Pikachu and Eevee and... Why are their names escaping me? I'm seeing all the Pokemon in my head, but from Gen 1, but their names are just absolutely gone. I mean, not compared to Onix, so like those ones, but most Pokemon, size-wise, don't compare to the legendary birds. But, look-wise, I mean, they're grand and pretty and stuff, but some of the legendaries that start showing up afterwards, a little bit more crazy, but either way, so I did go for slightly more casual, but I definitely wanted it to be sort of a unique style. But let's be honest, I'm modeling and dressing these people after Pokemon. They're gonna probably be pretty unique. Now, I did try a few different bottoms because I got to a point where I sort of decided on a top because Articuno has white on, like, the chest area. But I was thinking I wanted a skirt of some kind because I feel like a skirt would be more flowy, and again, like, the whole flowy nature of Articuno in a way was more fitting. So, but I did try some pants and things like that, and I just wasn't feeling it, wasn't liking it. I did decide to go with, like, this long maxi skirt that's sort of a mermaid style, so it sort of looks sort of casual, but sort of more fancy and a little bit different. So I did go with that, and I do like it. I will say, like, I wish that there was a slightly different color. I mean, there are light blues, there are, like, a variation of blues on Articuno, so it works. But, I do sort of wish that there was some more options or differences, but, you know, it's Sims, can't always have that, and there's no color wheel. And honestly, again, like, I mentioned this in the Sims 1, which I realized that I was forgetting to post Sims 1's 2, but I hopefully have it posted around the time this goes up. It will either be right before or very close after. But anyway, I did mention how that I think the color wheel would actually slow down and lag the game. So, I'm okay with it not being in there. Yeah, would it help me with some of these creative sims a little bit better? Yes. But at the same time, I think it would just slow down the game. And for people like me who have a bunch of CC already from previous things, I think it would just complicate matters so much. And, like, I would probably have to get rid of all of my CC just to let the color wheel work. And I'm not prepared to start over on my CC. Like, yeah, there's some things that I'll eventually get rid of, and I get rid of over time, but completely starting over? No. Not ready for that. But, anyway, that's on a different matter, but, Zapdos should be showing at this point, so, working on him, I definitely did try to give him more of a, like, for a lot of them, I gave their pupils and made, like, their actual eyes a little bit bigger. I think I made his slightly smaller compared to everyone else's, but I feel like that's just the look that sort of Zapdos is giving you. He's giving you a pretty serious, hard look, generally. And I think the eyes, personally, look pretty good compared to the actual Pokemon. Let me know down in the comments below how you think about that. But I think it did pretty good. And like I said, with a lot of the stuff, I did come to a decision pretty quickly on things. His hair worked out really well with this hairstyle that I got, and I got someone who did a color variation of it. Like, recolored it, and when they recolored it, they left the yellow one had black roots, so, like, it's basically like they dyed their hair golden yellow, but their roots are black, but it works well for Zapdos because he is yellow and black. So it works extremely well. So I was like, yes! Because at first I was just trying to find that golden yellow, and then I spin it around and I seen that the roots were different. At first I was like, oh. Like, when I realized the roots were a little bit differently, but then I was like, wait, he is, like, a golden yellow and black. This is perfect! But, so, like I said, he was a little bit easier. I found a shirt that had, like, a yellow and black on it, and he had, like, black pants. He was a little bit easier than the other two, but, yeah, so. But I am really, really happy with how they turned out. Definitely want to hear your opinions on how you think they turned out, and which is your favorite. Like, first tell me which is your favorite, just like as the Pokemon, if you're someone who watches Pokemon and likes Pokemon, or at least you know of the first generation or so. Let me know which one is your favorite out of the legendary birds, and then let me know which one is your favorite out of the 3 versions of their Sims. So maybe Zapdos is your favorite legendary bird, but maybe Moltres is your favorite Sim that I've created. Definitely let me know. I'd definitely be really interested to see y'all's opinion on them and who is the favorite there. I am still taking a few requests at this time of recording this voiceover. I haven't got a whole bunch of suggestions yet, so if there is any Pokemon that you really, really like this for me to do a Create a Sim series thing on, please let me know. There are some, of course, that I've already had done in the past before I even started the series that I did Create a Sims on, or if I just made them on my own account and now they're part of a series. So I might tell you that technically they're already made, but they will be featured alongside these Pokemon in the sort of grand finale for this series. So you can see them there too, and plus I might post pictures of them on my Twitter if you go and ask me over on my Twitter. But, so yeah, feel free to suggest any Pokemon down below that you want to see created, and I will take the first, like, 5 or 10 requests. I haven't decided exactly. It depends. I'm still getting used to this work schedule I got going on, so I gotta see how that all works. But, anyway, if you haven't seen the previous Pokemon to CAS videos, there should be 3 of them before this, so there will be a link in the description below to the Pokemon 2 Sim Cast playlist, so you can go check those out there. There should be screenshots coming up real soon of these guys, by the way. Meant to mention that already before, that there's screenshots at the end, but if you watch my Create a Sim videos, you know there's screenshots at the end, because I love me some screenshots. Also, my social media will be down there as well, so you can go check those out. If you have any particular questions about any CC that I use, feel free to ask me down in the comments below, but I will have links in the description to my most commonly used sites. So, thing is, with those sites, 90% or maybe even 95% of my CC I have found on those sites. So, you can go and check those out and maybe find some CC of your own or some of mine that I've used. So, there are those options, but again, just let me know, like, a particular item that you see one of them wearing and the timestamp, or describe it, and I'll try and go find it and add it to the description as well, so you can have that particular CC. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoy it. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, bell, all that good YouTube stuff. So, but I'll see you in the next one, so bye bye for now.